Hey, welcome to the Bitcoin Bull. Okay, today we're going to see what Bitcoin should be doing. Today, so far, looks like a good day for Bitcoin. And then we'll take a look at some news. We have some bad news here, which is Binance disappointed by Barclays, by Bank Barclays. Unilateral action to block customer payments. Barclays is not letting their customers take their money out of their bank accounts to buy Bitcoin and exchange Binance. So I'll explain what's going on with that. And then we have some good news, which is Bitcoin exchange supply hits a 6-month low as accumulation continues. So I'll explain about that, how that could affect the price of Bitcoin and how that can make Bitcoin skyrocket and why Bitcoin shouldn't drop any lower. So I'll go into that. And then we'll go and see towards the end of the video what Bitcoin should be doing in the next several days, weeks, and months from now. And also a quick look at the whole crypto market and see how that's doing. So let's go ahead and get into what Bitcoin should be doing today. Let's look at the hour chart. Also, before we get started, if you find this video interesting and helpful, give me a like. I would really appreciate that. That would help grow this channel. This is a new channel, so I would appreciate that. And also hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on what Bitcoin is doing and all the important Bitcoin information, all the news, and I'll be doing daily analysis of Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the hour chart. And yesterday, at the making of yesterday's video, we were right here. And I said there was a slight chance that Bitcoin could skyrocket into this area and a slight chance that Bitcoin could drop out of this channel here. And that happened, but it was a very slight drop. I said most likely situation would be that Bitcoin would kind of hug this area here and go up, and that's what happened. So it was most likely that Bitcoin would be going up. And now today, let's go over here a little more. Now, before here, I wanted to put in some new support lines because I noticed I noticed this new triangle formation forming. Let's go into the daily chart so I can put those lines in it, and I'll explain to you how this could affect Bitcoin the next several days. So let's put this here. It is okay. Here's one. It looks like I already drew this one in. Here's one here. You can see this line here. This is this new triangle formation starting, and now we can put in another one at the bottom here at this wick, touching this wick and touching the bottom of this candlestick here. Let's see, this would be more accurate right there. Let's see if it touched that wick. Yeah, wick, candlestick. Okay, so now we can zoom back in to the hour chart, and as you can see, let's go over here a little bit. Here are the new lines we put in right here. This triangle formation forming. Okay, as you can see, we broke out of this, and so Bitcoin is now breaking out of this triangle formation, which is very good. This short-term formation here. Bitcoin is still in this channel here, so we can't forget that. Okay, we're like in the middle of this channel, but we just broke here, which is very good. So today, here, let's remove this line too. So today, Bitcoin should, if it does a pullback, I would say it could do a small pullback to here and then going back up again. Or it could continue to just keep going up. And yeah, today If it does drop, it could drop all the way down to here in this area here. I don't think it will go any lower than this. Also because of this good news that I'll explain in a minute. There's a good chance that we'll be riding this resistance line down here. But yeah, most likely today will be in this area here. We should be in here today. Good break. Bitcoin could go ahead and just go up and break here. If that happens, we can go all the way up to almost 36,000. This resistance line here, which is very important. Once Bitcoin breaks that, we're gonna Bitcoin could skyrocket. And if it does break here, this resistance, we can drop down to here, but I don't think that will last. That is as probable. And if it does happen, it will last like a day or so, because once Bitcoin, if it does drop in here, once Bitcoin hits this point here, it will then break out and start going up again. So that's Bitcoin for today. And now let's look at this news, this bad news. So a Binance spokesperson reiterated to Cointelegraph that the Financial Conduct Authority's recent edict only applied to Binance Markets Limited, BML, which is a separate legal entity from the main global exchange that operates through Binance.com. So what Barclays is doing, they're taking what's happening with Binance Markets Limited, which they're kind of being investigated by the authorities want to make sure that Binance Markets Limited are doing everything correctly, which seems like they are. Binance has no problems with this. They're going to help the authorities investigate, make sure that they're doing everything correctly, which they are. And then Binance.com, which is the exchange, Binance has several different companies. It's a group. One of their companies is this one, and the exchange, which is the most important one, is the Binance.com. So Barclays, they're taking the situation, what's going on with Binance Markets Limited, and they're saying that it's Binance.com. So they're telling their clients that you cannot take your money out of Barclays to put your money into Binance to buy Bitcoins, because Binance is having some legal problems, which is not true. Just this company is having legal problems, not Binance.com. So it's not right what they're doing. And I know that they're doing this on purpose. They're misleading their clients, and they're manipulating this news, basically fake news. They're manipulating to make it seem like Binance is not a good exchange, not a good company. And that's the reason why they're not letting their clients put their money into Binance exchange to buy Bitcoins. And it's because banks do not like Bitcoin, do not like exchanges, because people are taking their money, their dollars, their pesos, their pounds, their euros. They're taking their money out of the bank to put them in exchanges like Binance to buy Bitcoins. And that means less money for banks. So they do not like that. And also because Binance, they're going to eventually turn into a bank, and they have the potential to end up being, if not one of the biggest bank, most powerful bank in the world. If people keep on buying cryptocurrencies, if they keep on buying Bitcoin, Binance could end up being bigger than Barclays and any other bank. So these banks are scared. They're scared of Binance. They're scared of Bitcoin. And if they can manipulate any type of news to make Bitcoin or exchanges look bad, they do it. So that's what's going on with this news. It's manipulated fake news that shouldn't affect Bitcoin price, because if you read the article, you can see that Barclays is not doing the correct thing. And then we have some good news, which is Bitcoin exchange supply hits a 6-month low as accumulation continues. The likelihood of another steep sell-off for Bitcoin is diminishing as more holders are accumulating, according to this data from Santiment. So basically, here, this is a tweet from them. we just read that. The ratio of Bitcoin supply on exchanges has encouragingly slid down to its lowest since early January. The 6-month low is a promising sign, as it generally will indicate that there is a decreased risk of major Bitcoin sell-offs. So here we have this chart here. The green line is the price of Bitcoin. This is where we were in the last year when Bitcoin skyrocketed. It was up here, and the beginning of this year when Bitcoin crashed. And here we're on the floor. And this gray line, this is the amount of Bitcoins that are on the exchange. Okay, you can see here it was up. Now, when people have their Bitcoin in the exchange, it's that they can buy and sell Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. When they take their Bitcoin out of the exchange and they put them onto a wallet, a digital wallet, on cell phones or a cold wallet on a hard drive or pin drive, then that means that they are not interested in selling their Bitcoins. They took their Bitcoins out of the exchange because they're not interested in selling, and they put them they have their Bitcoins held in their wallets to hold. They're not interested in selling Bitcoin. So here, when Bitcoin was low, there was a lot of Bitcoins in the exchanges, and Bitcoin started skyrocketing. And here, when Bitcoin made a huge drop, here there weren't a lot of Bitcoins in exchanges. People started taking their Bitcoins out of their wallets and putting them into the exchange. Here, a lot of people had Bitcoins in the exchange ready to sell, and bam, Bitcoin made a big drop. And here we're on the floor, and now people are slowly taking their Bitcoins out of the exchange and putting them into their wallets, and now it's at the same level as the price of Bitcoin. We're here, it's like it touched lines. There's like a cross here, the amount of Bitcoins in the exchange with the price of Bitcoin. When that happens, then Bitcoin can then skyrocket, because the whole supply and demand. There's not a lot of supply of Bitcoin right now in the exchange. They're all being held, and so once Bitcoin, let's look at the day chart. So once Bitcoin starts breaking these resistance lines, and especially once it breaks this resistance line here, then people will know that Bitcoin should keep going up. And when that happens, a lot of money will come into Bitcoin. And then once Bitcoin breaks here, then Bitcoin should skyrocket, because Bitcoin should not be going down anymore, because there's not a lot of Bitcoin in exchanges. That means people that don't want to sell Bitcoin. Money will be going into Bitcoin. People will be buying Bitcoin. The people that have Bitcoin right now are mostly holders, and you can see that on this chart right here. There's not a lot of Bitcoin in the exchanges. So Bitcoin should not be dropping. It should not drop. Bitcoin should not drop below this resistance line here. And once it starts breaking all these resistance lines that we just explained about, once it starts breaking these, and especially this one, then a lot of money should start going to Bitcoin. That should make Bitcoin skyrocket up to here. And then once Bitcoin breaks here, this is very, very important resistance, because once we break here, that means this whole situation here is over with. Bitcoin will get off the floor and start skyrocketing. Zoom out a little bit. Starts from here, starts skyrocketing, and get all the way back up to where it was before, to the maximums of where it was before, in several months from now. A couple months, several months from now. So that's the whole Bitcoin situation for today and for tomorrow. I just noticed that Bitcoin just made a drop. See if that will continue, or if that's something that is just a quick drop, or if we should get back up and get into this area, which I it was most likely. At the moment, it dropped below this resistance line, so that means we could be in this scenario here and be inside here, which is fine. That's fine. That means it'll take another day or two to get back here to break this. So yeah, the date doesn't matter if it's one day before, one day after, one day. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that Bitcoin is looking really good. Every time Bitcoin drops, the drops are higher than the previous drop. As you can see here. And if Bitcoin keeps on dropping today, it should be higher. It might go down to here. It should be higher than the previous drop. So Bitcoin is looking good, and so does the whole crypto marketplace in general. Here are some cryptocurrencies that I have. You see here, this one's going up almost 17% in one day, 18%, 16% in one day, 40% alpha. I'm glad I bought that one. That's doing really good. In the whole crypto marketplace in general, there's a lot of green today, and there's a lot of really good, 27%. Yeah, there's some really good. There's some cryptocurrencies that are skyrocketing today, 16%. So yeah, the whole crypto marketplace is looking good. Bitcoin is also looking good. So, and there's not a lot of Bitcoin in exchanges. Almost all the news is good news about Bitcoin. The China Bitcoin miners, they're leaving China. They're setting up their mining operations in other countries. So everything is looking positive at the moment. So hopefully you've been buying in on these dips that I've been recommending. Yesterday was another good time to buy in at this dip here. Let's see today what happens. Try to buy in before Bitcoin hits this price, and especially before Bitcoin hits this resistance here. Because like I said, Bitcoin is most likely to skyrocket. Every time it breaks one of these resistance, this one here and this one here, Bitcoin should start going up a lot. So keep on buying the dips and hold your Bitcoin, because in several months from now, I think you will be very happy with the profit you'll be making. So that's it for now. See you tomorrow for another Bitcoin analysis and to see if there's any more important Bitcoin news going on. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching.